to Rock and Pop Mandolin. My name is Mike DeJong, and this is your destination for learning classic rock hits on the mandolin. Today, we are going to Ireland, or at least to an Irish band called Snow Patrol, and one of their biggest hits called Chasing Cars. Again, a really fun song to play on the mandolin. The main lick, obviously, normally played on guitar. And it's actually a very simple song, only 3 chords throughout the whole thing. But the parts are different. The first part is arpeggiated of the 3 chords. The next part of the song during the choruses and things like that, it's basically hammered out as power chords. But that's it, 3 chords in the song, and you can play it on the mandolin. However, I will caution you, it's not as easy as it looks. Playing that little arpeggiated line for 4 minutes, or almost 4 minutes, actually can tire out your left hand. So playing the song sounds simple, but it does require some endurance on behalf of your left hand. And once you practice the song over a few times, you will really generate some strength in that left hand. So let's take a look at Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars today. But first, before we zoom in on this song, please, once again, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down in the lower right corner, that little red tab down there. Really helps me to continue putting out some classic rock videos for you in the coming months. We're going to have plenty more songs on this new channel, which is really taking off. So without further ado, let's dive into Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars. Okay, we've zoomed in now for Snow Patrol, another interesting song to play on the mandolin. This one seems very easy because there are only 3 chords, as I mentioned to you. However, the chords will stretch out your left hand a little bit. So let's take a look at the chords first, and I'll show you how to arpeggiate them, and then maybe hammer them out like bar chords a little bit later, power chords a little bit later. So first, the 3 chords are A, E, and D. But for the most part, I'm only using 2 fingers for each chord at the beginning when I'm arpeggiating them. So here's the A chord with the A note at the 2nd fret of the G string, and then right above it you have the E note on the D string. So that's an A chord, and you just hit it a straight 8th note pattern. You can even hit all downstrokes if you want, like I am. You see that? That's the A chord. Then you shift just 1 finger, your index finger, down 1 step, down 1 fret to the 1st fret, the very 1st fret of the G string, which becomes a G sharp note, which makes that an E chord rather than the A chord. You leave the 2nd finger here in the same spot on the D string, 2nd fret, so go from A down to this note. That's an E chord. Again, just use those 2 strings. Don't even bother with the other 2 strings here. Then I shift up to this voicing of a D chord. You're playing the D note here, 7th fret of the G string, and you're playing the F sharp note, which is the 4th fret of the D string. Once again, only those 2 strings for now gives you that D voicing. So it goes A, straight 8th note pattern. That's the E, and then up to the D. Back to the A. And that's basically like about 80% of the song, just that little arpeggiated pattern from A to E to D and back to A. Okay, the next part is just those same 3 chords again, but this time hammered like power chords on the guitar. So this time you can utilize more of the strings when you're playing these chords. So here you go on the A. Again, same 8th note pattern. That's the E chord. Now up to the D chord. Back to the A chord. And to add a little bit of impact, you can add the top half of the A chord if you like, or at least this note here, which is a C sharp on the A string, 4th fret. So you can go, right? And then that E, the full E string, then the full D chord. Just to give a little bit of... And that's pretty well it for Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars. Fairly simple, 3 chords. Just get those arpeggiated patterns. There's one other little guitar lick that you might want to throw in there. If you're playing with another musician who's hammering out those chords, you might go... The lead guitar player in Snow Patrol does that little lick from the A to the B to the C sharp, all played on the G string. So you can go... slide up to that C sharp there. So and that's Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars, a fun song to play on the mandolin, as you probably saw. A little bit tougher than it looks, but sounds really great. Thanks once again for tuning in to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin. Once again, please subscribe by hitting that little subscribe button down there in the lower right corner. Also, hit the like button if you can, and if you want, leave some comments or suggestions below. Perhaps some suggestions for songs that you want me to cover on this website. Thanks very much once again for tuning in to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin.